Okay. Now, apologies in advance. I feel as if one of the things I want to work on is like providing less context unless you guys like ask for it. But I feel as if like this is the type of topic where unless you are familiar with this drama, you need the context. But it's kind of work because at the same time we're not like a podcast that wholly focuses on the actual story. We like to kind of look at the broader aspects of it. That's all I have to say. Just bear with me. So I'm gonna say salute to Sykkuno. I know I am not maybe looking like a man of God and saying this, but all throughout this drama, or whatever you want to call it, all I could think is this is a real ninja. No weird implications about it. Anyway, so salute to Yahoo News. I don't even know why people make these things outside of things like this are specifically for our needs. So this is a little timeline and breakdown of the Sykkuno drama. If you don't know, Sykkuno is an incredibly notable streamer, an influencer. They predominantly, just do gaming. It's not like the IRL stuff that's going on these days. But the thing that makes him stand out outside of like their quote unquote unique personality is they're a streamer who, and I don't have the data pulled up in front of me, but like obviously we know like the role of streaming, especially when it comes to gaming, is very male dominated. But this brother, on the other hand, and also, I say salute to Yahoo. Shame on Yahoo for using this picture because this picture don't make him look like a Chad. There are pictures that make him look like a Chad, and it'll be more understandable why he's gotten to the predicament that he got into. I don't know why he used this picture, but anyway, this particular streamer in a male dominated space has a very large female base, and he collaborates with a lot of females. So keep that in mind. Anyway, so what's going on with the Sykkuno cheating drama? The streamer and his girlfriend's response to serial cheating allegations explained. I guess who's Philip Hamilton. Anyway, so if you were to scroll down in this article, it gives you the timeline, the breakdown. We won't be doing that, but again, to give just a smidgen of the context, I will go over some of it if that's okay with y'all. So, Twitch streamer Sykkuno was recently accused of cheating on his longtime girlfriend with numerous streamers and fans, and now he's responding to viral backlash. The allegations originated from VTuber. What is that? Himono? VT?
Momo.
Oh, Himomo. Okay, whatever. It's a female VTuber, sparking a wave of memes and reactions in recent days, including a lot of backlash towards Sykkuno and a few cut ties between his streaming collaborators. But how did all this go down? And how are all the people responding to the joint statement Sykkuno released with his girlfriend? Here's what you need to know about. Scroll down, please. About the Sykkuno cheating drama. So, they post a lot of the responses, a lot of the allegation. Actually, to give more context, because we'll get to the apology and we'll get to the awesome world of internet culture. Scroll down to the what is the Sykkuno shooting drama. So again, like I mentioned, he's a well-known streamer with a large following. He rose his prominence in the gaming content, streaming games like Among Us and Valorant, and his love for anime. Oh my God, this is. I already know where the controversy comes in and why I'm gonna beef with you guys unless you guys are on the right side of history. So in April of this year, this VTuber published a 30, imagine you're trying to out somebody and it's a 32 page document accusing Sykkuno of cheating on his girlfriend of 5 years with her. Oof, I'm already getting triggered. The document includes flirtatious DMs between both herself and Sykkuno and other girls in Sykkuno. According to the doc, Sykkuno pretended he was single. First of all, that's a quote unquote pretended, by the way. Sure enough, many others made
Yeah, we
accusations
see
against
we see what Quest's opinion is already. Like he's trying to
Listen. I already. That's why I gave a disclaimer. This is a real ninja
rig.
for in a lot of cases. Um, sure enough, many others made accusations against Sykkuno following over the following days. The allegations spread, and Sykkuno garnered significant backlash on social media. So after this one VTuber came out and accused them, other people came out sharing their experiences, all type of quote unquote backlash. Like this article said, people cut ties with them. Um, he had a friendship relationship with another very popular streamer, Valerie. And after this all came out, somebody asked them, "What do you think about Sykkuno?" And they had and scroll down. What did they say?
Did you say a friendship bracelet?
No, I just said a friendship or relationship. And they said disappointing. If I never mind.
This is crazy. He barely contain himself.
You already know where I was going with that. Anyway, how did Sykkuno respond to cheating allegations? Like I said, he released his own joint statement with his significant other, and the thing that doesn't really encapsulize, if that's a word, the thing that really isn't like you don't really get a sense of in this article is like what type of streamer is he, and again the reason why I kind of tried to explain it to you guys before, the reason why he was able to garner the attention in the fan base and the collaborative base with a lot of females in the streaming space is because of his personality. He has the personality of like that innocent anime protagonist. If y'all kind of
Did you watch this dude's streams?
I it's crazy.
I'll take that as
I actually did watch a little. There was an era where he got into playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, and I kind of was checking out, just not even watching the stream, but just checking them out. But anyway, that's again, it's kind of hard to really understand unless you actually do watch the streams. But anyway, I say that to say they put out this statement because you as an influencer you always got to respond when people are coming at you, even though he probably wouldn't better off saying y'all can get bent. Like I got some stuff going on at home, but I'm not gonna break it down to y'all. But the internet was going crazy, and it resulted in scroll down. Like it resulted in this. Yes. This is real deal. And it's so perfect.
What?
Again, you have to have context to really understand why this is so funny. But the voice actor of the protagonist of My Hero Academia, Deku, Justin Briner, apparently, who again kind of encapsulates the innocent like protagonist young boy, did a voiceover dub of his apology. And go ahead and play that just so we can. Basically, this is basically what it sounds like. To be honest, go ahead and try to play that. Oh, you gotta go over to the video.
I would like to apologize to everyone I have disappointed.
Yo,
Most of all,
this is brilliant.
to my girlfriend. I am so sorry I put you through so much. I never want to make these mistakes again and hurt you and the people I care about. I was unfaithful.
Oh my God. Okay, how much of this
I
will be
fully admit that. I lied to people and told them I was single, which I know is not right. I'm sorry to all of the people that I hurt by doing this.
All right.
The following is not an...
Dude, I fucking hate that voice so much.
But anyway, so yeah. In response, Sykkuno's girlfriend's portion of the response, she thanked everybody for their kind response and reaching out, calling the incident heartbreaking. She also states her disappointment that none of the women who cheated on let's focus on the women who cheated with Sykkuno reached out to her.
Are you kidding me? Come on now. Like,
Listen, if y'all ready to get into it, y'all can get into it. But there's no way anybody with
dead ass Quest. Are you kidding me right
there's
now?
no way with anybody with 2 eyes, 2 ears, and 1 good
Are you
brain cannot
kidding
see
me, bro?
the literal demonization and hypocrisy and all of this. Like
Demonization is fucking crazy, bro. Who was cheating? Who was cheating?
Well, first of all, it depends on what your definition of cheating is. But he already apologized, so there's no need to try to run cover for his actions. Obviously, he feels remorse. He feels what he did, he was wrong. So again, there's no need to cover for that. The reason why I'm bringing this because we got into a conversation about horror, and it really for me kind of goes into the conversation of like quote unquote wrongdoing and manipulation versus accountability. Um, Again, this brother came out. He apologized. He acknowledged that he was not being faithful. He was kind of playing the field, even though he's in a relationship. Um, but we have to acknowledge that the way in which this like came about, the way in which the reactions were, it's just it doesn't like it's not equal. It's like it doesn't make sense. Um, I don't even know what the best way to like frame the question is, but like, okay, I guess we'll just start it off based off the context, based off what y'all know. Again, not necessarily hyper focusing on that brother. Again, he's gotten enough backlash and words spoken at him or to him and about him. But what do y'all make of a incident like this? Say you got a homeboy who gets caught up and he gets outed like this, and the whole world is coming at him. Do y'all really think that they're the only one that's in the wrong? Do y'all really think that the manner in which people are like again, I will say demonizing this particular type of scenario is like completely justified?
Mm. Okay, this is an interesting question. I like this question.
I feel as if you. Well, I don't want to put anyone in a bad light, so I won't. I won't load anything onto anybody. Well, I'm curious to know what you think, Wes.
I think so. I'm going to walk through a scenario, which is that let's say the person who released this document, for example.
And this was one. This was just one of them. It started with the person that released that 32-page. Again, remember that number.
Exactly.
32-page
Exactly.
document.
So
And I'll just follow. So.
this person, I can imagine. I'm not sure, but I can imagine they started talking to him, or he started talking to them, whichever way it went. He either said, or at some point it was established that he was available, single, etc. And they continued to talk to him, perhaps despite or up until the point where they realized he wasn't single. And at some point, either they stopped talking or the communication slowed or something, perhaps. Or the person had something in their conscience that said, oh, no, I know that this person's not single. And I should be ready and collect evidence to make sure that my case is solid against the person so that I can confront them. However, the decision to make it completely public, which I assume that the streamer had no awareness of, is a choice. Is it wrong? I mean, it's assuming that the content is not doctored or manipulated, it's true. But should they have some respect for privacy of the person, or should they have some courtesy in addressing it to them first? Perhaps. Do I consider it a serious misstep? Not really. I don't think. Publishing it. Although, I mean, like you said, 32 pages is a lot. Maybe they could have just started with this person is unfaithful tweet or something like this.
You said that you don't think it was a big deal?
I don't necessarily see the gravity because it's true.
So I guess
is it the violation of privacy aspect?
it's the
Let this brother cheat in peace.
honestly,
Apparently.
honestly, the thing is, Okay, so when someone does something, and I'm gonna ask y'all, how would y'all react if you were in a similar situation? But also like there's a weird dichotomy difference between men and women. But anyway, there's a it's kind of hard to explain. There's a scenario in which there's an offense that happens. Like you either experience an offense or you're witnessing an offense, and you're in that position. You're in that predicament. The way you go about it indicates how you truly feel about it, what your motivations are in regards to
Yeah,
it,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
things of that nature. So I kind of want to just flat out ask you, okay, so and again, maybe it's not 1-to-1 because male and female are different in some regards.
No, no,
Say
go ahead.
were you were with you were talking to somebody, you were starting to build a relationship. Maybe you even had some encounter. Maybe you even had some level of sexual interactions. You don't have to take it that far. Just say you did, and then you found out the person was in a relationship. What would your next step be?
Yeah, you confront the person individually.
Okay, like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and that would be your first step. Tell me where down the line would you make? Forget the 32 pages. Where would you go public with it online, social media, and expose person? Tell me.
Possibly never.
Okay.
No, you know what? I get your question now, and I get your point because for at risk of being whatever, not politically correct or whatever, if a dude did that to a woman, I would say that that man was behaving in a not very manly way. I'll say it that way.
Hello, everyone. Once again,
And not a respectable way. So I get what you're saying because when the role is inversed, I don't really necessarily think of it the same way. But you're right. It's not the most. It's not the way to do it with the most integrity. However, I think at the point where the person might be met, if for example, the person tried to deny or whatever and tried to get their way, worm their way out of it and try to make it seem like they didn't do XYZ. I understand why people try to take it to the next level or publicize it after that. And then, of course, there's the dynamic that these people are public figures. But I get where you're coming from in terms of integrity and going to the person directly. But at the same time, I don't think that the relationship that these people have after the fact is a relationship of friends. Because if it's an offense between friends, like let's say, for example, then 100% you always go to that person first and don't do nothing like this because that's insane. But if your relationship is soured or whatever, as again, it's not not the thing that you could do that bears the most integrity, but it's still not quite the same because your relationship is not the same after the fact. If you get what I mean.
And to be fair, like some of the things you were kind of mentioning, there is a world in which, you know, they're not necessarily doing it because they feel this is the most logical route to go. They are doing it because the person is being a bit like they're continuing to be not upfront about it. They're continuing to kind of be kind of they're creating a world in which like you would look crazy if you didn't come out in a more public space and present your side of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe you just hate them because of the situation, and that's why you're going about it. So I can.
Yeah, I think a lot of times it is just the person hates the person, or they're just mad and they're just trying to get something off. Like sometimes, I mean, a lot of times it is just that frustration, which it's not the best thing to do, or not the best motivation, but it is what happens.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Um, Again, I feel that there's a lot of layers to the conversation that we were having before, but I guess to kind of keep it at the kind of surface level, what do you're already kind of coming for people? What do you think, Ghost? When you hear a story like this, would you just completely see um, the alleged cheater as like the only wrongdoer in this scenario? Do we see how like people are kind of using that wrongdoing and continue just piling on wrongdoing by the way they approach it? Or I mean, I guess
This is so funny.
I kind of do believe in when it rains it pours type of thing. So I guess maybe even I can see a world in which you kind of get whatever you get when you go down a certain path. But anyway, what do you think?
Oh, let me say something real quick. There's a lot of cases in which in which the thing that is done to the person who's done the offense is not necessarily the best way it could have gone, but at the same time, as the person who did the offense, you just gotta eat it. Like, and this might be a case. This is one of those cases. Like, the person that you offended is not necessarily gonna do things the right way, but based on the situation, sometimes you just gotta eat stuff. Like,
True. Go ahead, Ghost.
I just find this whole conversation and the way you're framing this quest to be very, very funny. So I'll to kind of
I'm framing it correctly.
build on
Thank you.
something. Yeah. Okay. To build on something that you said, Wes, and to be a little less politically correct, I would say that in a potential reverse situation, if a dude was the one that he got cheated on with some famous female streamer, whatever, and he went public with this instead of going to the other cheating partner or the guy that they cheated on or the woman that they cheated on specifically, yes, it would be bitch made, 100%. However, all that aside, I do think, just to get this out of the way, whoever posted this initial 32 Google page doc, instead of going directly to the cheater Sykkuno or his partner privately, yes, they are not in the right. They're doing this to get clout because they got a lot of traction off that post and all that. Yeah, absolutely. However, it doesn't fucking matter. The point of this story and why framing it as, or asking the question of, oh, this is your friend, what would you do, is invalid, is because these people that Sykkuno cheated with are not friends. He's doing this because he wanted to smash. Which you can call him, oh, he's a real nigga, all this. What? Bro, the point here is that I don't care about the people that cheated. I don't know if I should say I don't care, because the people that cheated with Sykkuno, and they can claim that they didn't know that he had a girlfriend. A lot of them probably lying. A lot of them probably knew that he had a girlfriend. They didn't care. Yes, none of them are in the right. Yes, the people that went public with this, trying to get clout, are not in the right. A lot of people that are trying to pile on now to increase their own clout for the sake of it are not in the right. That shit doesn't matter to me, because the person in question, again, going back to this whole example that you made, say, okay, pretend this is one of your boys that got caught up like this, and you found out that he was cheating. Bro, the cheater, I don't care if whoever was cheated on, or I don't care if the general public opinion is going too far. They invited all this shit. Like, again, how Wes mentioned, like, you have to eat it. They invited all this shit because they were cheating in the first place. That's kind of the end of the story here. Why are we making excuses, or, oh, they didn't go about reporting this the right way, they should have just kept this private? Bro, why do we care? Why do we care what these other people are doing? Because the general offense is the problem in the first place. And this reminds me a lot of, this is like a few years ago, D'Angelo Russell, Nick Young, and Iggy Azalea incident. If y'all aren't familiar, long story short, D'Angelo Russell claimed he got hacked. I don't know how true that is, but it was outed on like his Instagram story or something. He posted a video clip of him asking Nick Young if he's cheating on his then-time girlfriend, Iggy Azalea. Nick Young said yes. The video got circulated. Again, people don't know how. You don't know if D'Angelo Russell released it, if he got hacked. But people were pissed at D'Angelo Russell for taking the video in the first place because it broke the locker room code and all that. People to this day still call D'Lo a snitch and all that, and say that he shouldn't have done that. If that's right or wrong,
I do.
Yeah, you can call him all that all he wants. But why are people not more pissed at the person who was cheating, Nick Young? And I will say that the cheater, or the partner of the person who was cheating, Iggy Azalea, literally thanked D'Angelo Russell for that video, because otherwise she wouldn't have known. And obviously it did not come out in the in a good manner because it leaked or not, it got circulated online and all this stuff. But we're missing the point.
The
The
thing is,
point
I'll
is you
tell you,
shouldn't be cheating in the first place.
thing
That's
is,
the point. The point is
I'll
not you
answer your
shouldn't be
question.
clout chasing. That's the entire point here.
The thing, I'll answer your question of why people are more, in some cases, more pissed at the exposure or the way they expose it. The Nick Young situation, it's kind of a couple degrees different because that's actually somebody that's, it's not the person that you stepped aside your relationship with. It's like a friend, a quote unquote friend of yours. But the reason why is because, and you acknowledge it, but you're kind of glossing over it. Like, I mean, maybe it's just a old fashioned like two wrongs don't make a right type of thing. But like when we live in a world in which like the way people respond with this type of offense is to make that level of spectacle of it, it just showcases that like you don't. I mean, you said it. You don't necessarily care about the offense that happened to you. You just like the way in which things were happened. You think of it's like a launch to I don't want to say tear down the person, but because again, the offense happened. But like use that um to like launch your like it's all clout driven. And it kind of just goes back to like okay, if something happened to you, say like a crime happened to you, you would go tell the authorities or the proper channels that can actually get you some type of restitution or some type of make you whole again. If a crime happens to you and you go tell everybody and anybody that can't actually help you or can do anything for you, you even care about it. It shows that you don't really care about the offense. You just care about like I don't know, making yourself look like a victim, which is really the main problem here. These people are making themselves like victims when you're not a victim at all.
Okay. First of all, hold up, pause. Equating this to someone like, let's say, stealing from you and going to the authorities is a ridiculous equivalency.
No one's equating anything.
And the reason
it's analogous. Don't let's
okay,
relax.
it's like okay, whatever. It's an analogous to it. It's ridiculous, and here's why. If you got something stolen from you and you go to the police to, like you said, make yourself whole, the police can go through whatever channels they do and try to recoup for you, like look at surveillance or whatever, and try to find the thief so you can get what was stolen from you back. In this case, again, I don't know the true reasoning behind this specific person that posted a 32-page doc, but let's say that it sounded like Sykkuno was making his rounds with these his fans.
The reason is they're not intelligent. They want to make themselves a victim.
Can I finish my point, please?
I'm just answering your question.
At least one of these people, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because I said that most of them probably knew that he had a girlfriend. They just lied so they didn't. But let's say some of these people actually did not know that he had a girl, and they think, oh, there's this guy and he's nice, and I want to get with him, and he he smashes, and they're thinking, okay, we can have a relationship or something moving forward, and they get ghosted. I'm kind of extrapolating here because I don't know if any situations specifically happened to, but just kind of reasonably assuming they want to pursue a relationship with him. He does not have any future interaction with them because he already has a girlfriend. What level of recouping are you doing? Because that can you do to rectify this for yourself? Because a lot of the times, and not to say it's justified, but if someone gets cheated on or someone feels like they were taken advantage of or manipulated, they are going to seek revenge or restitution because they got played essentially, and there's nothing that you can do to get anything back from them outside of ruining the other person's life. Now, I'm not justifying and saying that that is the correct way to go about things, but almost every single scenario, anybody gets cheated on or done dirty, they want to make the other person pay. And what better way to make
Not
a
everybody.
big streamer who has a lot of clout pay than to post this shit online? I'm not saying it's the correct thing to do, but to act like if they just pursued this privately and just messaged him directly and said, oh, you shouldn't have done that, and that would rectify the situation is insane. Because I'll tell you right now, from my perspective, if I'm in a situation where I get cheated on, again, there's being the bigger person, but there's also F this person. I want to get some level of like a get back to them. And that's not the right way to approach it, but that's also very human.
By the way,
And saying that it's only people are only doing this to chase clout and they should have pursued it different ways or they should have done this, they should have done that. Again, we're missing the point. None of this
we're definitely not missing the point.
would have ever happened if the person didn't cheat in the first place. That's we're missing. How are we glossing over this? You're saying that we're glossing over the other aspects of the story. They made the biggest. They made the biggest fence, and I don't care what anyone says. Sorry, you're not real. You're not a real dude for going around on a cheating spree and smashing everything that moves. You're not. Sorry. That's just how you. If other people think that way, that's
First of
fine.
all-
But I think that you're not real, and you deserve everything that's coming to you, even if it's done for the purpose of clout chasing
First
or
of all,
ruining your life
first
with
of all,
no
no, you
personal
don't.
thing.
No, you don't. You know, we're throwing a lot of things out there. I'm trying to keep everything in mind. First of all, no, you don't believe anything and everything else should happen to them. We're not. Nobody's glossing over it. Like all these things, and again, to be honest, I kind of liked how you're kind of saying like the very clear sentiment that is being like demonstrated by like a lot of people in society of like, you know, anything like who cares about how people react. But the reality is, why we can say it's human nature, so it's Michael Jackson, why we can say all these things, the reality of it, that's just not how like uh doing anything, or not doing anything, but doing these things that don't put you in a more positive outcome after like receiving an offense, it's just foolish. Like you can say like, oh, it's gonna happen, and but I'm basically saying we shouldn't do that because that's a more foolish society, and you're saying, oh, what's gonna happen is, and you're fine with that. Which again, I'm fine with you blatantly admitting it, but it's kind of sad. And another thing you said, I guess to be clear, I'm not saying that all these things are like all these people are doing this based off clout, but they're doing it based off of either foolish or a negative intention. To provide some clarity to that. And yeah, again, the thing of someone you experiencing offense and you going to a source that can't help you opposed to a source that can make you whole. Again, these things, this is analogous. That's, you know, the justice system or whoever you go to being able to make you whole, opposed to if you are the person that somebody steps aside a relationship with, there's no specific way to make you whole or for you to get restitution in that scenario. But if you are that person, you know, whether you are ignorant of their status or not, unless they like do something, unless they steal from you or like waste somebody's time, it's just not like an offense. It's just what it kind of it's not. It's like you can't be
Okay,
you can't be punished for it. Like it just is what it is.
Are you serious right now? Well, I don't understand. I don't understand.
What am I saying that's wrong? Or
I just don't understand your line of reasoning that you're
what don't
saying
you
that
understand?
essentially what you're saying is that nobody is owed anybody that was with Sykkuno isn't owed any level of interaction with him beyond the initial incident. Is what I'm gaining from what you're saying, in that they have no right to be pissed or upset about this.
No,
Am I?
There's no way you can do this thing to me and you can say that. Nobody said they don't have a right to be pissed. No one said they don't even have a right to take action. The action you take should be in line with something that's going to restore your sense of a positive life or a positive outcome. That's what I'm saying.
What if I mean, revenge feels good, bro. Like, what if for them the positive outcome is they post this, everyone slanders Sykkuno that they have been, and then they say, okay, my work here is done, and they ride off into the sunset satisfied. Like,
If
I just don't get what in
if
your
that's
mind are
truly-
you specifically ascribing to say that this is the correct way of going about this situation in restoring a positive feeling to yourself?
I mean, I can't disagree with you. If a person truly believes that going about that makes them feel more whole, they get a better sense of like a positive outcome. That by the way, you expose them whatever the case, he's getting quote unquote backlash, but he's also getting tons and tons of more viewership because people want to know how he's going to respond. He remained with his significant other, so he didn't lose anything. So I mean, again, I do understand the concept. Some people just are a joker and they just want to see the world burn, and they don't like they get that sort of sense of fulfillment. But just realistically and objective as possible thinking, what negative outcome happened to the person that did the offense, opposed to you? Because the people that went out online and exposed them, they're obviously going to be people that give them backlash, and people are going to call them stupid, dumb, like they went about it wrong. Like now you're opening yourself up to a bunch of criticism when you could have just not. And again, if that's truly, again, to be clear, if you truly get that sense of positivity based off that, then I would say, okay, that was the right move. But realistically, for most humans, that's not going to get you the highest sense of positivity. Especially when you have to go making 32-page documents about what? Like it was the best use of your time? But yeah, again, I'm always just curious to know what y'all general thoughts are. Even though some of them sound kind of insane. I guess last but not least, well, again, there was a whole nother level of this. I will say one thing that I potentially maybe walk back a little. Given their apology, I think it's fair to say, because one thing that I was actually kind of listening to what some people said and kind of reading some of the things that they were saying, and one kind of theme that I had noticed was that again, I didn't read everyone's expose, but one thing that I was kind of noticed is like people were saying like when they were having conversations with Sykkuno, like he was giving the impression that he was single. He didn't flat out say I am single, but according to his apology, he flat out said, okay, I lied and said I was single. So that is, and kind of going to what you were saying, no one's glossing over. I 100%, or all of us here, everyone would agree that if you lie and say that you're single when you're in a exclusive or monogamous or whatever type of relationship, you're obviously in the wrong, like 100, 1,000%, and you probably deserve some level of punishment somewhere down the line. But to say that that type of punishment is, I don't know about that. But yeah, based off all this, I guess some of the conversation. What about you, Ace? Are you more along the lines of what Ghost is saying, or come on,
I agree.
He ain't deserved that. Come on.
Listen, I agree with what most of what Ghost said.
Let him cheat.
Listen, I agree with most of what Ghost saying. I will just try to get back to your original question, Quest, which I do think was I do think is worth thinking about, like in terms of the backlash and the degree of it, and like.
I kind of want to ask you to hold that thought. I'm really sorry. Maybe it's just because it's been a while since I haven't podcasted and I got trying to trigger senses. By the way, who? None of us are the most high. And honestly, yes. What are you trying to punish people for? Talking about that relationship? What is wrong with you?
I'm not punishing anyone. I'm just saying that any punishment that he's getting, I'm not fucking pressed about it. Like you are apparently.
We're talking about in the form of the punishment being him being outed. That's the most innocuous type of punishment you could get. Like you should be thankful that's all that happened.
I'm not saying what the actual it's a detriment to him. I'm saying it doesn't make you whole. It was a dumb move to make.
Listen, you say dumb or not, it's an emotional move to make. I mean, regardless of
sitting down and typing up a whole.
Yes, are you kidding me?
You're off of emotion. You're pissed off.
People will go to the end of the earth with spite. Are you crazy?
You know what's crazy? This will be too much of a tangent, but it reminds me of the J. Cole diss track and the apology. Listen, I don't think that's true. I think there's literally like some logic into like the reason why they recommend that people sit down and write out their thoughts is because it gives them time to actually process what is like closer to the truth and what's like your sense of emotion. So to sit down and write all of that and then to publish it, this is negative intent. There's no way.
Yes, it's absolutely negative intent.
Of course, it's negative intent.
That's what we're saying. It's not good. That's not the argument here. It's just that
The
It's not
argument
even
is
like
the
we're
argument is
saying
that
negative two.
we
We're
shouldn't
saying
live in,
negative
we
two.
shouldn't
What if?
promote a world in which
Wait,
people
hold up.
are moving based off negative intentions.
we should
Hold up,
promote
Quest.
more
Hold up,
people are
Quest.
fucking
Because it's
cheating.
not.
That's
I
the whole
don't even
point.
think you can fully say it's pure negative because it could also be to get the information out to other women he's doing the same thing to, which I don't think is a bad thing.
I mean that goes back to, does anyone have a right to stop somebody from that? I guess
What?
as long as anyone is being transparent. What are you wanting me for? If you know somebody stepping outside the relationship, you have a right to stop them. What are you on about? I guess that's a worth question to. I kind of hate that this is kind of boiling around stepping outside relationships when the bigger thing is like, how should you react, or how, what makes sense for a person to react when they're offended. But I guess, yeah, if you guys knew somebody that you have some level of relationship with was stepping outside the relationship, you guys would feel it's your duty to make it publicly known. Just to be clear.
Listen,
I don't think
I personally would go directly to the two parties.
So
Like,
the answer is no.
so I
Okay, thank
know.
you. What do you, Ghost? You think it is?
no, I don't think it's
Okay,
the
thank you.
correct thing to
And
do.
Wes, I know you
What?
don't.
Wes,
So basically,
Wes,
none of us
you're
believe the
missing
thing.
you're
None of us
missing the
But
believe in the
point. You're
thing
missing
that
the
we're
point.
saying that he deserves.
Why are we talking about that? Why are we talking about what you're going to do if you found out someone's cheating and not talking about the cheater? That's the whole fucking point. It's the whole point.
What do you want to say? We all know. It's like the reason why we're not talking about it is because we all know it's wrong. What you guys aren't getting
Apparently we
is
don't. Apparently we don't. Because we're getting a lot of coping
what you
and
guys seem
defense.
to may or may not know is wrong. Is
hold up, hold
when
up, hold
some
up, hold up, hold up, hold up. I think what you asked. I think what you asked was not the situation that happened. Because you asked if I knew two people were cheating, would I go public, or would I, talk to the two people? But if I was part of the party that's like in like being deceived or whatever, which I mean, based on his apology, we can say he admitted to. I think the would I go public per se, or stay, keep it to just the two people. I think that becomes a grayer area, or like a grayer um question.
I mean,
I don't
I suppose I didn't ask you directly, but I mean, it seems like both the other parties already kind of acknowledged it was like unmanly. Which, to be honest, I should even push back on that. The fact that y'all view men and women differently in regards to being offended in that way,
I
that's a whole
do. I
different.
do. I
That's a
do.
whole
I
different.
do.
That's a whole different conversation.
I do.
But the reason why I asked it is because I'm just trying to glean where you guys stand on this matter of, okay, we, regardless of what Ghost is saying, we all acknowledge that that offense is wrong. Is it your right or duty? Because like you made it somewhat of a valid point. Like, okay, the purpose of them doing could have just been made that everyone is aware, and I agree. We should live in a more transparent world. But I'm asking you: do you think it would be, given you putting yourself in this position? Do you think it would be your right to do that? Your duty to make sure this offender is public.
I think I would be my right. I don't know if I would exercise it. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I know. I know. I know. Like, it's crazy. Like, I'm not talking to random. I'm not talking to random people. I know for a fact none of y'all would. It's crazy, and I don't think most humans would. It's because we inherently know,
Nah,
like,
it's
that
nah.
ain't my business.
You see
Okay,
how messy stuff goes down when I mean, divorce, of course, is the extreme example of people cheating inside of a marriage. But even that, like, that gives you some indication of the mindset of people. And I'm not gonna say somebody is completely wrong for being in that situation and outing that person for what they did. I'm not gonna say that they're completely wrong for
the thing
that.
is, again, you brought up somewhat of a good point, by making it known and more transparent. But when we're talking about wrong and right, you guys are. I mean, I'm trying to be clear and concise. You guys understand where I'm coming from with the wrong and right. Like, it's always hard to come to a conclusion on what's wrong and right for anything in this universe. But the logic I'm using to determine whether something is wrong or right is whether it makes sense and whether you will become some level of wholeness or more positive from it. like again, what is
Yeah,
the
I mean, yeah, we're talking about, yeah. I mean, if yeah, okay, I get you, I got you, I got you.
And again, I don't think
I do
no matter
really
how much
want to
y'all come
get
at me,
back to
y'all
your
can't
original
really
question, but
outside of that example that makes some level of sense. Which even though it makes sense, none of y'all would do it, and probably most people wouldn't do it. There's no nothing's going to. It's not gonna bring you anything. It's not gonna bring you peace to do this. It won't bring you peace. It'll bring criticism,
I
backlash,
think it'll bring some sense of satisfaction. Yes, I do.
and even that,
You did what you did. Now you get what you deserve.
and even
I
that,
think it's gonna bring
I
us.
think y'all are glossing over the fact that we shouldn't live in a situation where people are moving based off revenge. Like it doesn't not that ain't it. I can't believe this is the focus of this
It's an
conversation.
oversimplification. I think that's an oversimplification.
Okay, so what is the
Even
scenario or what's the nuance in
even
which it makes sense for people to move
if
off
we want to
revenge?
look at it from the scriptural standpoint, okay, somebody did something wrong. You take it to between you and that person. If they don't admit to their wrong, you take it to the elders. If it's still an issue, take it before the congregation. Why did that happen? It was to spread the spread the like make it known as a like a lesson that you shouldn't do this thing on a societal level. That now the person, of course, didn't go directly to them. They outed the whole situation, but the that final like result of spreading it to the society as a whole as you do this is what's going to happen. I, I understand it. I'm
Well,
not going to
one,
say it's completely wrong.
oh, why not? You do get the ghost star for making the first scripture reference. You know, we are a podcast based off scriptures, so I give you credit for that. And while obviously you can pull at my not harshness, but you can pull at my sense of morality for that. But if we're just talking objectively in a society where there's going to be a whole bunch of different beliefs and systems and all that, like it just boils down to it's a revenge based act, and we don't really want that. It's
So another scriptural reference: when the Pharisees were selling stuff in the temple on the Sabbath, and Christ whipped them out of the temple. By your logic, he shouldn't have done that because it was a revenge-based act, and it wasn't positive, right?
listen, if you guys are trying to again, I'm trying to stay relatively objective. If you guys are trying to say that as somebody that witnessed an offense or was the person that's offended, if you want to go and correct, if y'all were homeboys with Sykkuno and y'all wanted to go correct Sykkuno, I wouldn't say a word. The whole making pages and putting it public, that's obviously a whole different thing. It's obviously predominantly negative.
Yeah,
It also
Christ should have went to the each Pharisee specifically
it
in
doesn't seem
private, and he
like
shouldn't have made a public spectacle
it
of
doesn't
what they
seem
did.
like
That
y'all have
wasn't
it
that
doesn't seem
wasn't
like
revenge.
it doesn't sound like y'all have
I
any
know it
object
wasn't revenge. To be
it doesn't sound like y'all
facetious,
have any objective response for that. I it's
you
crazy.
just you didn't give an objective response to the
I've
example I
kind
just gave,
of
by the way.
you don't you don't believe what you said. It kind of seems like, to be honest, I kind of came in here thinking y'all would actually completely blow me up the water, and I would have come in here and admit that you guys are right. But I feel more justified in everything that I was saying before. It's kind of crazy. Again, the only thing you
I think
again
to
walk back is that
summarize,
he did lie. We don't respect
Man, to
cowardice.
summarize, we didn't even let me answer the first question
oh,
because I was kind of on. I mean, I think it was a very interesting question, but I don't know if
Hey, go
we
ahead.
need to get into it now.
good.
I would just like from the standpoint of people piling on to it, I think that is um a very good question. It kind of gets into like the cancel culture type thing of it all. Um Another biblical reference that came to my mind in terms of that was like a let he is without sin cast the first stone type thing. I think the people who pile on and say, oh, Saikuno's this evil guy, all this stuff, I feel like it comes from a standpoint of um like not only not recognizing yourself and how all the nonsense that you may do that aren't blown up to the level because you're not a a Twitch streamer or whatever, have the fame of a influencer. But it's also like, kind of like feeling good about yourself, trying to be on the right side of history type thing, and not from a standpoint of wanting to see the necessarily like the good of not just the I mean, not even like considering the girlfriend, for example, or really wanting to consider what would be good for the two people that are in the main at the center of this whole controversy.
I'm sure
So
she want her business blown up.
yeah, that's what this the end of this document says from the girlfriend. So I think there is a lot to be said
Another
about
reason why
how
the
public.
quote unquote victims that went out about that were completely in the wrong.
I think there is a lot to be said about how the public reacts to these types of this type of news, these type of things. I don't think I definitely don't think that aspect of it is good. I don't think there's any I don't think there's much in terms of good that comes out of that. The only thing I will say is just um the fact that the information spread to the public because of what he was doing. I think it's more so just a consequence of what he did, and it's something that you kind of have to eat if you're gonna if you're gonna go about living your life this way.
A consequence that you guys or you acknowledge the world would be better if it didn't happen.
I'm not even fully saying that.
Like,
I'm not fully saying no. The
how could you
world
not?
would be better, or
So
the
the
world
world is
would be better
better.
or worse.
The world is better.
It's a two-sided thing. It's a gray scale. It's not the world is good or bad.
Okay,
It's some good
give it.
and
Okay,
some
okay.
bad.
I
The
listen. You hear
good
me?
is that people are seeing that this happened and know, okay, if I act like this is maybe a consequence. That's good.
Again, what is the consequence? A bit of backlash, but you get more views. You say what your girl. Like, I'm addressing everything you guys are saying. You guys don't seem to be. And maybe I'm a bit too high, so my apologies.
The collaborators leaving him is not a good consequence. The fact that he has to stop streaming because he's being blasted every time, that's not a good thing.
And you're
The fact
taking
that
an
him and his
anecdotal.
girlfriend's situation was blasted to the public, and now the girlfriend's also experiencing a negative. That's not a good thing.
Yeah, but not.
It's very possible that if this had happened, the same exact circumstances, that it could have turned out completely different for this dude. We're taking an anecdotal incident of, on the surface, yeah, he's still
I'm
staying with this girl. Yeah,
I'm saying
still has
most.
clout.
I'm saying if you're that person, most times out of 10, this is gonna be the outcome. You're only going to
What do
get.
you mean most times out of 10? How are you saying that? How are you even coming to that conclusion? Based off of what? Again, I go back to let's look at the Nick Young and Iggy Azalea thing. Iggy Azalea divorced him. Was that a good outcome
Well, what you
for
heard?
Nick Young?
You heard the first thing I said. If you're that person, obviously, if you're with somebody that's of a higher socioeconomic status or standing, or just in all by a lot of metrics, they surpass you. Yeah, it would be in your favor to not do anything to uh, do to create that
This
imbalance
is
in that
the
relationship.
worst reason I ever heard in my life.
You can keep coming at my takes, but it's the craziest. Like, there's no level of objective rebuttal. It's just crazy.
You keep saying objective. You
I'm
keep
kind of
throwing that word out there.
I'm kind of surprised.
You're not
that this is
objective. Why are you saying you're objective?
maybe it's because you guys are rusty or whatever the case may be, but it's kind of sad.
You're just
This is
spouting BS.
this is
Quest. Like
fucking crazy.
you're
This is
saying nine
crazy
times
as
out of
fuck.
10. Where is that data coming from? First
I
of all,
didn't say-
Exactly. Where's your
no one-
objective data? Where's your objective data?
And there's also a problem with you guys misquoting what I just said. I didn't say 9 times out of 10. Like let's all simmer down. I'm not putting any
My
percentage
bad.
on it.
Most time, would you say most
I'm
times?
using a everything I'm saying is purely just I'm using 1, 2, 3 logic. Is nothing sounds fantastical. Nothing sounds out of the ordinary.
What's it
Again,
To
based
stop me.
you,
on?
Again,
to
stop me if
you.
I'm. Again, please stop me if I am saying something that's wrong.
I'm trying
That,
to, and you're saying you're objectively right.
huh?
I'm trying to tell you that you're bugging with your takes, and you're saying that no, you're objectively right.
And I'm asking
Most,
how. Wow.
okay. The most times out of 10, I asked you where are you getting that data from, and I gave you another anecdotal example of a situation where it didn't work out,
And then what did I
and then
say?
you
We
rebutted
don't.
and said that if
I'm not asking. I'm not asking you to repeat the conversation we just literally had. I'm just asking like how, and I respond to that. So why are we even rehashing that?
So where did you get most from? How do you know most is true?
What am I saying? That's not true. Just answer that.
When you're
When you said
saying
most, when
most
you say
situations,
most, you're talking about the fact that he has a certain public status, and this type of scandal is going to likely increase his visibility on people's timelines or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying is most often, and
Yeah.
that's not
and it's
unreasonable. Because it's a public
Oh,
figure who's in a scandal is gonna have press. No, what did I say? No publicity or bad publicity is any publicity is good publicity. Whatever it is, either way. I think to bring this to boil this back down, I think the thing to if we want to be scriptural, everyone is self righteous, and there's things that we, but also at the same time there's repercussions that happen, and we do have to accept certain repercussions. But everybody is behaved in their own self-righteous ways in this situation, and everybody's at fault, and everybody needs to change their ways. But I think the question that we can ask is to if we want to put ourselves in the place of an advisor or the place of the person themselves, what
yes.
would be the advice to that person? The
All right.
first
Yeah.
one
Bring it back
would
for
be
this.
for if you're talking to him before this thing goes public, you say you shouldn't be cheating. Make it right with everybody that you're doing this with. Address it with everyone that you're doing it with. Address it with your girlfriend. Figure it out. Make it right. That's the advice to him. I don't think anybody would disagree with that.
Yeah.
Then you go to any one of these girls. If you're addressing their situation, you say make it right with him. If of course they come back and say, but what if it doesn't? What if he doesn't listen or whatever? Then you can go to that step. But the first step, make it right with him. Nobody's going to necessarily advise them. If you read the 32-page document, are you going to be the one to say, oh, publicize it? I don't think we would say that.
Yep.
So, and if it's the girlfriend, we're saying, hey, so we found out some information privately. We think that you should have a conversation with your boyfriend. Nobody's going public or whatever. And I think that is the advice that would be given to all of these people. And I think that is Quest's point, if I'm not mistaken.
all right,
Yeah.
good summary.
Yeah. I'm greatly appreciative of you for kind of bringing that back to the basics. It does kind of suck because it feels like there are some largely differing views on stuff like this, and yeah, I don't know. It's fine.
People heard it.
There's
People
gonna be a
got the
million.
videos now.
There's gonna be a million and one topics like this. So I'm sure we'll come back and maybe one day we'll get more on the same one accord. But for now, I really want to give him that salute. I'll hold back since it seemed like that's not the consensus. Yeah, salute to all the faithful and people that stick to their commitments in their relationships. Salute to all those people. Unless there's anything else, we can move on to the next topic.